This has got to be the most ridiculous vice president we have ever had. She's getting a great big kick out of it all. Now she's on her first big international trip, and everything is just funny to her. Even sacred obligations of national security are somehow a joke. So she's all the way down in Guatemala, which is more than 1,000 miles away from the Texas-Mexico border, you know, the hot spot. She was asked about that. Watch.
Put a button.
Okay.
Do you have any plans to visit the border?
At some point, you know, we are going to the border. We've been to the border. So this whole thing about the border, we've been to the border. We've been to the border.
You haven't been to the border.
And I haven't been to Europe. And I mean, I don't understand the point that you're making.
The point that he's making is Joe Biden said that you're in charge of the border situation, shoring it up, and you're blowing it off. The whole administration is, we know. I mean, Joe's on your side here. But what a ridiculous display. And there was more today from Guatemala.
Listen, I've been to the border before. I will go again. But when I'm in Guatemala, dealing with root causes, I think we should have a conversation about what's going on in Guatemala.
She thinks she can like flirt her way out of any situation. It's worked for her in the past. I'll get to that in a second. But when it comes to border issues, this is her go-to response, giggling.
Do you have plans to visit the border?
Not today.
Now, the thing is, when she gets serious, she's just as ineffective as when she's silly. You think this is going to make any kind of difference when it comes to our border crisis?
I want to be clear to folks in this region who are thinking about making that dangerous trek to the United States-Mexico border. Do not come. Do not come.
Hey, that's going to do it, right? I can feel everybody turning around. They are mid-river, turning around and heading back down south. That's all it took. The vice president going to Guatemala and saying, don't come. Don't come. What are we doing with this person as vice president of the United States? She obviously is not a serious person. And I mentioned the flirting. It was a key part of her rise, all right? All the way back to the Willie Brown days. Take a look at this from Peter Schweitzer's book, Profiles in Corruption. She and Willie Brown were quite the item. Willie Brown being San Francisco mayor, former California State Assembly Speaker. Willie Brown was married in 1958 and remains so today. But that did not matter. Brown was 60 at the time and began dating Kamala, who was 29. Brown was actually 2 years older than her father. Their affair was the talk of San Francisco in 1994. This all led to something, though. Brown began pulling levers for Harris that both boosted her career and put money in her pocket, rewarding Kamala with appointments to state commissions that paid handsomely and did not require confirmation by the legislature. Willie Brown helped make her career. And somebody else did, too. Barack Obama. Yeah, he was crazy about Kamala Harris. I mean, big time. The chemistry was palpable. And he could not help, even the fake news pointed this out, making borderline inappropriate comments when he was around her.
When is telling a woman she's good-looking not a compliment? Perhaps when the woman is California's top law enforcement officer, a possible future Attorney General of the United States,
Good morning.
even a potential Supreme Court nominee.
The American dream belongs to all of us.
And the person delivering the compliment is the President of the United States. It all started with an ad-lib comment at a private fundraiser in California Thursday. Mr. Obama praised California Attorney General Kamala Harris, a longtime friend of his and Michelle Obama's, as a tough administrator of the law who gives everyone a fair shake. But then Mr. Obama added, she also happens to be by far the best-looking Attorney General in the country.
It's not so much what he said, and look, that's a fine statement, but she likes this stuff. This is how she connects, okay? This is why she thinks flirting, giggling is somehow a sufficient answer to our border problems. It's obviously not. The flirting with these two, Barack and Kamala, it was wide open as recently as last summer.
Tell me about Joe and your relationship with Joe.
He's not that into talking about another man right now. She's just so tickled about everything. I don't think he wants to talk about Joe. This is interesting how he talks about Joe, though. Watch.
The main thing to know about Joe is that Joe has never lost his sense of why we do this. And we do it because of, for him, memories of his family back in Scranton, and then the people of Delaware that he represented, the folks on the Amtrak train he met each and every day. He's constantly aware that that is why we do this, and that everything that comes up, his focus is going to be how's that going to help those people who sent him there.
This is, they tell me, one of the best speakers in the last 100 years. President Obama, Joe is, he's got like a family in Scranton, and he represented, and stand up, right. Here's the key. Here's the key to understanding Kamala and understanding Joe. They hate each other. They hate each other. Even Dr. Jill Biden has basically admitted as much. They do not like each other. But Barack Obama, I believe, made this partnership happen. It's artificial, it's ugly, and I think it could come undone someday. Joe's got to watch his back, and Kamala's got to watch her back. In the meantime, we all have to watch our back, because the truth is not being told, I believe, about January 6th. A lot of people do not want the information out. I do. This was not a step in the right direction. This is the Senate review of security planning and response failures on January 6th. It's about 128 pages long, and it does not tackle any of the issues that I think need tackling, that everybody should think needs tackling, like this moment. Why were the cops just standing there in so many instances?
Why are you letting this happen? Why haven't you called for backup? Where is your backup? This is our damn Capitol building, and y'all are letting it get destroyed on your watch.
Yeah, why? Why? And why did this officer right here let so many people in? See this? Waving them in as those barricades are removed. Why did this happen? And of course, why was the unarmed Ashley Babbitt shot and killed by Capitol Police? No warning, she was unarmed. And it's barely touched in this report. On page 25, all they say is the DOJ closed its investigation into Miss Babbitt's death, citing insufficient evidence to support a criminal prosecution of the USCP officer. I already knew that. You already knew that. I came out months ago. No more information.
You just watched Newsmax TV, America's fastest growing cable news channel, now in more than 70 million homes. You can get Newsmax TV on your cable system or check your cable guide. And if your system doesn't carry Newsmax, call them, tell them you want Newsmax TV, because we're real news for real people.